Where do I even begin? So, let's start off. Woke up 5 a.m. this morning. Okay? Because forced to be in a religious household, forced to go to church, even though I'm not religious. I'm the exact opposite. I'm non-religious. And, so, wake up 5 a.m., have to go down there, cook breakfast for the church, because that's what my family does for the church. And they're okay. You know, they're not really too bad. And then I get to Sunday school. And in the Sunday school class, our teacher, not gonna name him, we'll just call him Jake, okay? We'll call him Jake. So, Jake decides he's going to talk a bit more in depth of what he thinks the lesson's trying to say. And upon doing that, he has said certain things. He started saying the world is so messed up nowadays because Satan tries to make you think that everything's for yourself. Not for you, well, not for God, for yourself, and that things should be for God. And don't really agree with it. Do not agree with it at all. And he starts off, pretty basic, like a normal Sunday school teacher would. And then he starts talking about depression, and suicide, and Muslims, and things, and evolution, and things go downhill. Ranting to the camera.
Cool! What are you doing?
Ranting about what happened in Sunday school and in service with the pro-life thing. That pissed me off so much.
Okay.
Because I'm pro-choice, and the arguments they gave just made them sound like idiots. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, start talking about depression, Muslims, evolution, suicide, and let's see. Started off talking about evolution. He didn't even know what evolution was to begin with. He thought it was we came from apes. That right there just proves he doesn't know it. Sorry, that's my sister in the background. But that right there proves he does not know what evolution actually is. Evolution does not mean that. We did not come from apes. Apes and humans share a common ancestor. It's like, here you have humans, here you have apes, and then somewhere down the line, they connected through this common ancestor. That's what evolution is. And basically, and then he starts talking about how it's not like that. We're different because you don't see an ape going around and putting on a shirt like this. You don't see them putting on a shirt like that. Or you don't see them putting on a hoodie or beanie or anything like that. He just says you don't see it. So, obviously, we did not... That evolution's false just by that. Which, that makes absolutely zero sense. You never see... Sorry, cameras. There we go. You never see an ape. Whatever. I'll do whatever. But... You never see an ape feel ashamed for what he's done. He never has any guilt. How does that exactly disprove evolution? It doesn't. There's no way that proves evolution isn't real, because evolution's real. So, then he starts talking more about how the world's evil, that there's no absolute truth, which there really is no absolute truth. The truth is based on your society, and the region you live in. Like here, southeast of the U.S. will be different from, I don't know, the West Coast. Things will be different, we'll think differently. That's just how it works. So, he's talking about, that how there has to be absolute truth, otherwise stuff, and I just thought it was completely stupid. Because it actually really was. So then he continues on, and then he starts talking about how things are different here in the U.S. than over in like Europe and Saudi Arabia and Israel and stuff like that, because over like Saudi Arabia and stuff, mainly Muslim, here mainly Christian, and he says in here, well, and he's also talking about Europe. He says in Europe you can now go to a doctor and get doctor-assisted suicide. That's like half true. That is like half true. You see, the only way you can't walk in there and say, "Hey, I'm fucking depressed. I think my life's stupid. Help me die." They're not going to help you do that. But now, if you have, I don't know, like cancer or AIDS or something, and it is a proven fact that you have to be hooked up to all this equipment and stuff to keep you alive for as long as possible. If you want, instead of sitting there and suffering, you could choose to pull the plug and die. And, you know, Bailey, don't you think that if you had 6 months to live, but they had to keep you, well, not 6 months, say you had like a month to live, and they had to keep you hooked up to all these machines and stuff just to keep you alive, and they offered you saying, "Hey, if you want, we could pull the plug right now, we can let you die, or we can keep you hooked up to all this stuff and let you die in a month's time and keep suffering." Wouldn't you want to go ahead and end it there, since you know you're going to die within a month's time anyways?
Mm-mm.
You wouldn't?
Mm-mm.
So you'd rather go ahead and get it done. You'd rather sit there and painfully suffer until you finally died a month later, or you could just, go ahead and pull the plug, have a quick and easy death. Me, I'd choose the quick and easy death, and I know a lot of people who would. I know this guy, he's a Christian, and he said that if any scenario comes to where that happens, because he's very ill and stuff at the moment, like he said, strokes before, and if he has another one, he's gonna have to be hooked up to these machines to keep him alive. He said if that happens, he wants to die. He wants them to pull the plug, so he will die instead of having to sit there and suffer. He's a Christian, which that is actually a smart move right there, because I want it quick and easy, no suffering, and I think a lot of people would choose that as well. But apparently that does not count. That still counts as suicide and stuff like that. But it's just the fact he didn't even know what it means. It means, hey, you don't go in there and say, "I'm depressed, help me die." No, you die. You choose to let them kill you and let yourself die if you don't want to suffer. Okay? And then he started talking about how, like Saudi Arabia and stuff, they'll beat women and throw them on the streets and let them suffer there. That is not true at all. I've read bits and pieces of the Quran, and the parts I've read, I read a couple parts when it comes to beating women. If you are married and you are a Muslim and you have a Muslim family, if your wife disobeys you or Allah, you have the right to beat her for it. It says that in the Quran. I am not even kidding. You can read it yourself. It says that. It was, don't remember the exact book. It was something, I can't remember the exact verse, but I do know it said it's talking about how if she disobeys you, you have the right to beat her. If she disobeys Allah, you have the right to beat the shit out of her. And then, moving on from that, we get into the actual service. And usually how the service goes, we have some songs, and then the preacher will come up and he'll preach for about 30 to 45 minutes, and we'll be out of there. Sometimes it goes longer, sometimes it's shorter, it just varies. And this time, before, we had this little drawback because someone decided they were going to join the pro-life program, and they were talking about how abortion is not right, which, me, I am pro-choice. I'm not pro-life, I'm pro-choice. I say if you want to, you can. Now, I will offer up the fact that you can have the baby and set them up for adoption. But if you think it's necessary, you can have the abortion. That's just me. I'm not sure that's everybody. Are you pro-life or pro-choice? Are you pro-life or pro-choice? Pro-choice basically means you think it's okay for them to have an abortion. And pro-life means you think it's wrong.
Wrong.
Okay, so she is pro-life. I'm pro-choice. Sorry, Matt. She's down there somewhere.
Huh.
So they can't see you. I was just pointing to where she was. But yeah, she's pro-life. I'm pro-choice. We see things differently, but you know.
You think it's okay to have an abortion?
Did you not just hear me explain it? I just said, now I'm pro-choice, so I think it's okay, but I will offer up the adoption thing. Now if you want, you can have the baby and you can set it up for adoption. But if you think it's absolutely necessary, you can have the abortion. But I'm telling you, you should at least consider adoption before abortion. That's just me. That may not be her, but that's me. So the examples she gave were just stupid. So she brought up the pastor's wife and one of her friends, and her friend had 2 granddaughters. One was 2, one was 4, and they pretended the pastor's wife was pregnant. And it's like comparing, saying, hey, should we kill this 2-year-old here because they're not as developed as the 4-year-old? And no, we should not do that. No, we shouldn't do that. And then they're like, they brought up one of the people sitting beside me in the front row, who's one of my friends. He had to go up, yeah, it was Will, and he had to go up there and, you know, what's her name, Will, and stuff like that. So then he gets up there and she says, now should we kill the 4-year-old because she's not as developed as this 13 or 14-year-old here? No, we still shouldn't. And then it's like, now should we kill this 14-year-old because he's not as developed as this 30 to 40-year-old man? No, we still shouldn't. Now, should we kill this 30 to 40-year-old man because he can't contribute to society anymore? No, we should not. And then she said, well, then why is it okay to kill the fetus? Because the fetus is not... It's different with the fetus because the fetus is not actually alive. It's not alive, and it's not an actual person yet. It's still taking the nutrients out of the mother. And she covered this as well with like the pacemaker and the IV and stuff like that. And then she brought up a guest by the name of Mr. Ashcraft, and he passes out candy to the kids. He's roughly in his like 80s or 90s, very early 90s if so, and he has his candy bag. He's got like Snickers, M&M's, Skittles, lollipops, stuff like that, Smarties. He's got it all, and he'll pass it around to the kids if they want some. So now she said that maybe some Christians don't want to offend somebody by saying abortion's wrong. So then she gave this example, the worst example ever. Now, let's say Mr. Ashcraft here decides to poison the candy for the kids, and I see him put poison in the candy, and say these kids in the front row, and I was one of the kids in the front row, let's say we go up there, and we start to eat some candy, and we eat the candy, and someone's like, hey, this is poison. Why didn't you tell us? And she's just gonna be like, well, because I didn't want to offend you. How the fuck does that make any sense? How in the hell does that make sense at all? Did that make sense to you?
I'm not really paying attention.
What? I'll just ignore you then. But think about it. How does that make any goddamn sense? It doesn't. And I was sitting by my friend. She's also pro-choice. We agree. And after the thing that went on in Sunday school, and the fact that well, not just that, but she woke up this morning and she's finally like, I'm done with religion. I'm an atheist now. And I support her because I'm one too. I'm an agnostic, and as of right now, she is an agnostic atheist, but she's looking into like Wiccan stuff, which is like kind of like a an ancient paganism thing. I'll explain probably later, but she's looking into that. Cool, because she has a because she likes this person. Well, yeah, used to like this person who is Wiccan, and it's this whole complicated stuff. I won't go into detail, but she's going to look into that. But right now, she's atheist, and I sat in the front row next to her, and then next to me was also my friend AJ, and then was Johnny, then on the other side it was Casey, and then Will, and then Aaron, and all the stuff you don't know them, but yeah, that's just how it was, and she agreed with me that it was complete bullshit, because it was complete bullshit. Anyways, that's just probably gonna wrap it up here. The lesson wasn't too much important from the preacher. He didn't really preach anything offensive I would have to talk about, surprisingly. But I just wanted to cover the Sunday school thing and the thing that held up the service in the sanctuary, because I thought it was complete bullshit and it was highly offensive. And the entire time during Sunday school, once he starts talking about that stuff, I literally just look at my friend and I give the most unamused face. I'm just like, I just turn to him and I'm just like, and he understands because he knows I'm agnostic. He knows I'm atheist, but he is still religious himself. But he's kind of questioning it and everything. But he still is religious at the moment, and I would say that I hope he converts, because religion, I just see this complete bullshit. It's very offensive, bigoted, close-minded, just sometimes downright stupid. Anyways, this is gonna wrap it up. I just decided to rant about it, get it off of my chest, because I was extremely pissed. You don't know how many times I actually looked over at either one of my friends and I said, please help me, I'm about to fucking explode on these assholes. There have been so many times where I either thought that or actually turned to them and said it, because it made me so mad. And see, that's the thing. There's like this double standard with Christianity. It's like they could sit there and they can make they could say all these offensive stuff about people who believe in evolution and stuff like that, but as soon as we say something back after they say it, everyone loses their fucking minds. It's so stupid, and Christianity just has so many double standards, and I'm a former Christian, and now I see Christianity, and I think bullshit, bigotry, close-minded, like I said before. That's what I think when I hear Christianity or Islam or Buddhist. Anyways, that'll be it for this. I will see you all later.